Shout out to Mariam and Rolanda. Thanks so much for subscribing to my channel. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for regular uploads and your chance to be included in shoutouts for future videos. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today is a very bittersweet day for me because this is the first video I will be making since my best friend. As you know, those that follow me follow the Facebook group as well, and also in previous videos, if you caught that, I shared that my best friend was battling cancer. She passed away August 25th, just after midnight, in mine and her family's arms as well. And this will be the first video that I will be making after my sweet and beautiful friend has passed away. And I'm trying to figure out how I switch the camera back. So maybe I'll have to stop and restart, I'm not sure. Yes, I had to stop and restart for some weird reason. It doesn't allow me to flip the camera. So hello. I just thought I'll bring you along with me while I am out here having a nice walk. Hopefully you can see me and hear me fine. I switched to my little, which I got new, wireless earbuds. So I'm just seeing if it works. So yes, since I'm here and since, I'm thinking these last few days, I'm always thinking about Dominica, my best friend, but I thought it would be a really good time to send a huge shout out and huge hug to Catherine from Coconut Lux, or I think the name is different now, but I think you know who she is because I've interviewed her on my channel, and a lot of people that watch my videos and that know me know Catherine. She lives in Melbourne, Victoria, and she's just a really strong woman, and I have grown to admire her work ethic and her drive for soap making. And really, really sad news when I found out she actually got diagnosed with the same cancer that my best friend passed away from. So really big shout out to Catherine, and I hope that you stay healthy. And last I heard from her, which was a couple of weeks ago, that the cancer in her breast has shrunk significantly, which is fantastic. So I'm really happy to hear that. And everyone sent really good positive vibes towards Catherine and virtual hugs towards her, and send DMs to her. Just let her know that you're thinking of her through this difficult time. Even though she's doing better, it's still going to be a difficult time for her moving forward. And hopefully she gets into complete remission and lives a long and healthy and happy life. So go ahead and send really big hugs to her, virtual hugs and kisses. And next I would like to give a nice big shout out to Delicia from Delicia Naturally. When I first discovered Delicia, I was like, ooh, lard, I'm not really like, then I was a little ignorant in terms of lard and soap and how that it is a waste product and how it actually is very eco-friendly to use lard and soap, because they just dispose of lard, like the fat, and it just goes to landfill, which is a really big waste because you can make beautiful soap with it. And I really admire what Delicia has done, and she educated me, as you know, when I interviewed her also on my channel. She really opened my eyes up to tallow and its uses in, soap and balms and lotions, and how it's actually really favoured by a lot of people, and even baby's skin and sensitive skin as well. So she really educated me, and watching Delicia grow into a fantastic business owner, and how she's really the passion and the drive, I really admire her. And big shout out to Delicia. And also if those of you that do follow her and those of you that don't, so I'm still going to give a nice big shout out to her and her affiliate program that she has with Biogon Australia. So I'm not sure if everyone knows what that is, but that's like compostable and biodegradable plastic alternatives like cling wrap and Ziploc bags and all that. I use them actually, so it's really great that she has sorted an affiliate out with them. So I will share the code up here and also go to the description below and follow the link to Biogon Australia, where you can enter that code that she has provided, and which is now available for everyone to use, where you get a percentage off your order. I do believe it's 5% or 10%, I'm not exactly sure, but I'll correct myself with a plug. And so big shout out to Delita and congratulations for securing that beautiful affiliate. And just other notable mentions, notable shout outs to other people that I really admire, like Ellen Ruth. Hopefully Ellen is doing great, and her husband, as you know, if those of you that do follow Ellen, she's had a rough couple of years now with her husband being diagnosed with cancer. And last I heard that he's doing okay, so that's fantastic. So big shout out and hello to Ellen Ruth. And a big shout out to Keely from Soy and Shay here in Australia and Brisbane. And of course the beautiful Ellie from Ellie's Everyday. Just shouting out to everyone that I admire. And also Ellie and Keely have been really great. And since, me going through, the ordeal with my best friend, being diagnosed and passing away. And also a big shout out to everyone that follows Dawn Organics and that has reached out and just in the group and, whether it's email or direct messages, thank you for those really nice messages. And, just really, really grateful and thank you. And big thanks to Cassandra as well, and from Cassandra also as well. We've become really close over the last few years. I'm sure you've heard me mention her quite a few times, and just everyone that's been really supportive. And so thank you very much. Right, so now all that out of the way, I just wanted to say that out loud, and now we can focus on the fun stuff, which is, soap making. And as you know, I'm a soap addict, and it's really nice to get back into the swing of things. And so, big shout out to Carrie from Heirloom Body Care, because I have an affiliate with Heirloom Body Care as well. And I had to create a new recipe for King of Suds because, as you know, olive oil has just become just way too expensive and pricey. So I created a nice new recipe where you can get all the oils and the fragrances and the micas that I am using today in today's video from Heirloom Body Care, and you can use my code DAWN5 for 5% off your order. And this new recipe is designed without olive oil. I had to change my recipe up for King of Suds because it's just too expensive, and I'm trying to keep the King of Sud bars under $7. So with the huge price hike of olive oil, it's just impossible to do that. So I created a recipe which I have been using now for a few days, and my mum has been using it, and I have really sensitive skin, so it has not dried my skin out at all, and it's been absolutely beautiful. So it's a combination of palm oil, which I've had to use palm oil now for King of Suds. Well, from December onwards will be a lot of King of Suds soaps will contain palm oil. And I get my palm oil obviously from Heirloom Body Care, which is a sustainably sourced palm oil. So that is 50% of the recipe. 25% will be coconut oil, 20% will be soybean oil, and 5% will be castor oil, and it will have a 5% superfat. And I still use the same stuff I use in all my other recipes, so sodium gluconate at 1%, sugar syrup at 1%, 1.2% salt solution, and a 1.5% sodium lactate, which I still use, even though it's got high palm oil. But the other oils can soften the recipe a little bit, so I wanted to add those just to make sure that it's a nice long-lasting hard bar that lathers really nice, and it really does lather beautifully. It's just a very, very well balanced bar. It lathers nice, it lasts long, and even though I used it after 24 hours of making it because I just really wanted to try it, I did a pH test and it was fine. It came back around 8, which is great. So then I've been using it in the shower now for a few nights, and even it has not really fully cured, it's still lasting a really good amount of time. So usually with, obviously, non-palm soaps, it can melt away at that beginning stage, especially when it's not fully cured. But I found it's just a very well-rounded recipe and very nice to use. So you can get all these at Heirloom, which is fantastic. So I'm making 2 slabs today. One fresh cut roses, which you can get from Heirloom, and beautiful, beautiful rose scent, and apple cinnamon. That is really, really nice. So I'm just going to use the whole 100ml bottle in each slab. So that works out to be 3%. And I'm leaving these bars a simple, so just one color, because it does tend to move a little quicker because of the high palm oil. And from what I read, apple cinnamon does accelerate a little bit, so I'm just not going to even bother trying to color that one. And even working with fragrances that don't move, I anticipate this recipe, doesn't matter what fragrance I use, it will move a little quick. So I'm just going to leave them one color. I'm just going to keep them nice and plain and simple, and box them up and just make them look presentable. And yeah, just keeping it kind of simple. And there's just something beautiful about simple soaps and simple one-color soaps as well. And that's what I'm aiming for King of Suds moving forward. I'm just going to keep it very minimalist and very simple, and not too overpowering scent-wise. And of course, as you know, inflation is a really huge problem here in Australia and worldwide. I'm trying to keep a range outside of Dawn Organics that is affordable and keeps me going. And yeah, just, I found it, it's a good business move. I'm really glad that I did start King of Suds as well, because it allows me to use ingredients and oils that I won't necessarily like to use for Dawn Organics, like for example palm oil, micas and fragrance oils. So with King of Suds I can use these things, whereas it's an option, people can choose when they shop on my website. They can pick Dawn Organic soaps if they want, no palm oil, essential oils and natural colors like clays, and essential oils and natural fragrances. Whereas on the other hand, people like, different smells, and they like a longer lasting bar. So I just find offering both has been a really good thing. And most people have been purchasing both and appreciate the diversity that both offers. So yeah, I'm really excited about the December release, where it's going to be a lot of like Christmas-like scents as well, and just other rosy, fruity type scents that I'll be coming out with as well, and hoping to keep that all year round. The apple cinnamon just smells absolutely divine, and the fresh cut roses as well. So definitely give that a try if you're wanting to make nice soaps for Christmas or for your range, whatever. We just want a new recipe for your range if you do happen to sell soap, or if you do markets, or doesn't matter of what you're doing, you can just use this recipe and it's fantastic. And I will provide a cost analysis as well on how much the bars will cost, and so then you can have an idea of how much it will cost you, whether you were to make these at home just for yourself, or whether you are a business and you do want to make an affordable bar, well-rounded bar, that have all the qualities that we all want, as soap makers and soap users in a bar. Right, so I think that wraps it up here while I'm down by the water. And when we get back, I will quickly go through LyeCalc and Just do a quick run through of Lye Calculator. Every few months I like to do just a quick run through of Lye Calculator again, because I just always get asked what Lye Calculator you use and which one is easiest to use. So I'll just do a quick run through on that, and a quick run through on the Excel spreadsheet as well for the recipe. And yeah, so that's it. And then we'll go ahead and I'll weigh everything out, get everything prepared, make 2 slabs worth, and each slab will be a 3.5 kilo oil batch, and I'll be cutting them at 2.5 centimeters, and I will get 44 bars out of those, which is great, and they will average around the 100 gram mark after cure, which is fantastic. So I think for the price range and what you get, I think it's a really great price. Fine. And definitely make this recipe yourself. For the soap makers that do, you really must try it. It's really fantastic. And actually, before we continue, this is my second recipe without olive oil that I really love. The other one is cocoa shea oil, which is 80% coconut oil, 20% shea butter. Really, really love that recipe too. Yes, I have 2 really nice recipes that are olive-free that are pretty affordable to make. Because coconut oil, like you can get like a non-organic coconut oil from Heirloom Body Care, really inexpensive, and from other places probably, I'm not sure, like if, other places, like if people know from coconut oil, but it is significantly cheaper than olive oil. And shea butter is pretty inexpensive. Like if you get a refined non-organic shea butter, they're pretty good too. So yeah, 2 beautiful recipes without olive oil. So it's possible. You can do just a palm recipe too. I know a lot of soaps, commercial soaps they buy, they're like 85% palm oil and then 15% palm kernel oil, around those percentages. And palm kernel oil is a coconut oil substitute, so it's for lather and cleansing. So if you can get your hands on both of those, I guess that makes a nice, inexpensive, well-rounded bar. And of course, handmade soap, actually, when we make it ourselves, it does retain the glycerin, so that would still make a nice moisturizing bar of soap. Right, so, alright, I'm going to quit yakking. Let's go ahead and have a look at LyeCalc and the Excel spreadsheet as well, and then we're going to get cracking and make the soap, cut it, and I'll do a lather test as well. So it's going to be a pretty lengthy video, I guess. I'll try to keep it under 1 hour, but just to show the whole process of everything that I've been talking about. Rightio, so see you at LyeCalc. Right, so this is the Lye calculator I prefer to use, and many reasons behind it, also which I have shared in previous videos. And the 2 biggest reasons is you can adjust lye purity, because sometimes you can get lye that's 97, 98 or 99% lye concentration, and this determines the purity of your lye and will actually affect the total lye required at the end. So that's one reason. Another reason is also if you want to add citric acid, it's very easy. It just tells you how much extra citric acid you need and how much extra lye you need, because the citric acid will use some of the sodium hydroxide to make sodium citrate. So that's really handy as well. And we're just going to go ahead and search the recipe up. So we're going to add palm oil, and then 76 degrees coconut oil or refined coconut oil. And then we're going to do soybean oil, all grades, and then we're going to do castor oil. And the lye purity of my lye is 99%, so I'll put in 99%. I'm doing a 4 kilo batch, so I like to use percentages, and we'll enter the percentages in just a moment. We're going to leave it at 5%, and I like to water discount, so I like to do 28%. Usually I do 25, but considering there's a lot of hard oils in this, I like to just up it to 28. And palm oil's 50%, coconut 25%, soybean 20%, and castor 5%. And here is the soap properties here, but I tend to ignore these even though people like to, look at the INS and other properties, I kind of ignore. I just go by skin feel. I just use a recipe I create it in my head, and if it doesn't feel right, then I change it up until it starts to feel right. But this recipe, I just thought in my head, I'm not going to do the 30% because I know it might be just a little bit on the drying side, and I thought I'd lower it from 30 to 25, and then obviously that 5% difference, I'd make it up with soybean, because soybean originally I was going to do 15, and I thought, oh, maybe not. I'll just adjust the percentages like this, and it worked out perfect. The first time I used it was absolutely beautiful. And here obviously it tells you how much of each you need. I obviously in Australia go by grams. And the lye 570 grams and the water 1120. Total oils 4,000 or 4 kilos, 4,000 grams. And yes, and if you were to add citric acid, which I use sodium gluconate instead of citric acid, because I find sodium citrate does dry the skin out a little, so I prefer to use sodium gluconate for a chelator, and it's also a conditioning booster, so it's a dual action, so that's why I prefer to use sodium gluconate, and I absolutely love it. So that's just a quick run through of LyeCalc, and now I'm going to show you the Excel spreadsheet. Right, so welcome to the Excel spreadsheet, and if you want a copy of this spreadsheet, I do have another video where I walk through and provide download links to the video, and it's really easy to set up. I'll walk you through it to input your own sort of recipes in there, and it's just really great way of getting your cost price down to the very cent, so you know how much each bar is going to cost you. And this is my go-to. All my recipes are in here. It acts as a recipe keeper plus a cost price generator, which is fantastic. And the way I've set it up as well is, if you're using specific oils, certain amounts like percentages, and you figure out how much lye is required per kilo, you can actually work it out percentage wise, which I do go into further detail in that video. So for example, if I want to scale back the recipe, if I don't want to make a 4 kilo batch, I just want to make a 1 kilo batch because the mold, I want to make for a friend, or just a sample, I want to sample a particular fragrance, I will adjust the recipe, the oil size, and I want to cut, say, 12 from that, and then all these values change, including the lye and the cost pricing, and it's just a fantastic way to keep track of everything. But for this video, obviously we're doing 4 kilo and 28 bars, and we'll know exactly how much the price is. So the cost of this recipe without the fragrances, just the base cost, because I add oat milk in these, so I prepare my own oat milk, and that's $29.21. And just bear in mind that these prices here, I buy in bulk, so I buy the coconut oil in the 20 liter capacity, the palm oil in the 15 kilo boxes, the soybean oil and the castor oil, both 20 liters as well. So if you do decide to, say, buy those in like smaller quantities, this will obviously impact the price. But if you are wanting to buy in bulk, or you're a business, this is the price of the recipe. And for example, because we're going to be focusing on, I was originally going to film these two here, apple cinnamon fresh cut roses, but I decided to film for the video Midnight Waters and Hawaiian Frangipani. But these 4 just smell absolutely amazing, and they will be a staple in King of Suds. I will be using them here on out. And Midnight Waters, and bear in mind too, because I did want to just test these fragrances out first before I go ahead and buy 500 ml or 1 liter bottles of the fragrance. So this does I bought two 100 mils so I could have enough fragrance for this slab. So this price will come down considerable. And I'm pretty sure from memory, I really don't know the prices on 1 litre. But just to give you an example, I will have a look at how much, just say Hawaiian Frangipani is at 1 litre, just so you can see how you can bring your cost price down. Right, so we're going to go, I just had a look and it's 110.10 for 1 litre at Heirloom Body Care. So we'll go to FO, and here I've got it 90 grams or 100 mil, which is about how much it weighs. So if we're going to do 1 litre, which is about 900 grams, and it's 110. So the price for the Frangipani was, if we go back, that's 1956 now. And if we go back, we'll change that back, 1956, 28.44. So if we were to go forward, again, that comes down, and obviously the cost price comes down as well, $1.81 per bar, whereas before the change, it's $2.13 per bar, so that changes the cost price per bar. But we're going to leave it like this because this is how I actually, and including these larger quantities of the oils and butter, the palm oil, we're going to leave it because I just wanted to show you exactly, this is how much it exactly cost me buying the amount quantity-wise from Heirloom. So the Midnight Waters per bar cut at 4 centimeters, so nice big huge chunky bars, and they'll be estimated to 100 grams after cure, and that's $1.78 per bar. And with the label, I'm doing wraparound labels instead of boxes because they are too big and they don't fit in boxes. And surprisingly, I'm actually going to move away from soap boxes because the feedback I had gotten was, oh, we can't see the soaps anymore. So during, lockdown and COVID, people were worried about hygiene and touching things and spreading and whatever. So I boxed them up and people were really happy. But now the craze of, COVID and all that is over. People are now like wanting, we don't want that in boxes anymore. We want to see it. So I'm actually almost out of boxes. I've only got a very limited quantity left. So after the boxes, I will be going back to wraparound labels, but I won't be using the string to secure them. I'll just be using double-sided tape just to fix the nice belly bands around the soap, and that way people can smell it and see it, and it has the appeal again, which is what made Dawn Organics soap liked and loved by, in retailers and online as well. So I'll be happy to be moving back to belly bands. So per paper, I'll be getting 4 labels. So 7 sheets of paper to create 28 labels for the amount of soaps I'm going to be getting. And I will show obviously pictures of how the finished product looks like as well. So this all goes into the making of soap, and especially for a business, because you've got to work out how much it's going to cost you. So I'll be retailing these bars for $8.95, which is a great price for the size and quality of the bars too. So yes, I just thought I'll have a quick run through of how much this is actually going to cost me, and so you have an idea of, if you were to create any sort of recipe, so you know exactly how much it's going to cost you. And so we're going to stop here, and we're going to go ahead and start making the soap. Hello. Now we are in the soap making area, and hopefully you've been following this whole time through the LyeCalc and the cost pricing. So as before discussed, this is 50% palm oil, 25% coconut oil, 20% soybean, 5% castor, and then the oat milk, the hand pressed oat milk I make is in here as well. And the reason why I'm using this bucket for now is because the diameter of this particular small stock pot isn't kind of wide enough and tall enough. So when I make a 4 kilo batch of soap, after I put the lye water in, it goes like almost to the top, and I can't like mix thoroughly because it could just splash everywhere. And also I can't stick blend it properly, and especially with fast moving fragrances like this one, because this is going to move a little bit fast. So this is Hawaiian Frangipani from Heirloom, which I'll be using. So that's in there with the vitamin E, sodium lactate, and the sugar syrup. And then here is the yellow mica with white clay. And I'm going to soap a bit cooler today because I had issues yesterday because it's really humid here. And what ended up happening is some of the bars in the center of the slab, they had like these holes on the bottom. And they were like really wet, so you can see like a little hole here, if you can see, I don't know if you can, yeah. So that was happening on some of the bars in the middle of the slab. Right, sorry, I had to adjust the camera there because it was going blurry for some weird reason. But yes, as you can see the holes here. So that's what was happening with some of the bars in the middle, particularly with apple cinnamon. That's also from Heirloom. It smells really nice. And then I made fresh cut roses as well, and this was sort of wet in the middle as well, but no holes for the fresh cut roses, which is great. I do want to pH test them just to make sure that they're okay, and ones that have really big holes on the bottom, I just slice just a tiny bit on just to make it nice and even, and still some imperfections, but those bars that have imperfections on them, I'll just sell at my local cafe at a reduced rate. And let's just check the temperature because I want to soap cool today. I want to see if that makes a difference. So I will wait. Oh, actually, by the time I add stuff, what's that, 33, 32? Yeah, by the time I add everything from here in there, it will be fine. Yeah, so these are the signature eloquent oat milk bars. You can see that's one bar that had like a hole in the middle. Yeah. So it was really humid here, and this is a really new recipe as well, and those are fast moving fragrances, so I had a little bit of trouble. So I'm hoping to avoid that today. It's a little bit cooler. Well, it's actually hot today, but it's not as humid today, so I'm hoping the lower humidity will make the soap behave itself. So I went to look at some pots before because I want something that's just a little bit wider, and just so I can make a 4 kilo batch comfortably. I have bigger stock pots, but I don't want to use the really big ones, and because I can't stack 2 in my dishwasher when I go to wash. So I think the 11 litre, I've seen these 11 litres that came, I just went now, but I didn't end up getting any because I wanted to measure the pots that I had, because it looked like the sizing of the pots there when I went were smaller than what I have here, but when I measured them they were the same size. So I think because that pot, the stainless steel pot I just showed you before, that's 7 litres, and they have 11 litre stock pots. I think just that little bit extra room will make a 4 kilo batch not overflow so much. And it's not so bad when I'm making other soaps, from my Dawn Organics range, but this recipe does move a little quick, and I want to be able to blend properly without having any issues or any splatter, or not being able to put the stick blender further down and mixing it properly. So that's the thought behind it. I was very tempted to actually pour everything in the mold and stick blend in the mold because I know this fragrance to Hawaiian Frangipani is going to move very quick because I read the notes. So that's why I'm hoping soaping a bit cooler today it won't be as chaotic as it was yesterday. Yesterday was very chaotic soap making day, and I'm trying to make enough of these bars for mid-November as well. So I'm just going to mix everything. I'll get the stick blender in a sec and give it a nice whiz. So this is what I want to be able to do, mix like this. I'm probably not going to use a stick blender like after I, just incorporate everything, because I know it's going to move a little fast. So I think I'm just going to do this as I'm pouring the lye in, just so I don't have headaches like yesterday, because yesterday was a really big headache day. And I thought I'll show the Frangipani one because it does move fast, and the Midnight Waters, which was beautiful to work with. It didn't accelerate anything. It's got a nice cologne smell, the Midnight Waters, which I'll be showing after making the Hawaiian Frangipani. I'll just give it a nice stick blend. Yeah, so as you've seen in the previous spreadsheet, of course you can get the cost down a little bit if you were to cut per bar, if you were to cut more out of it. But I want these bars big and chunky like these. I find them really nice. And just want to create because inflation, is affecting everyone, including myself and other soapers as well. And you can absolutely, if you don't want to use palm oil, you can absolutely buy tallow, which is now stocked at Heirloom Body Care. I'm pretty sure it's beef tallow, which is really, really similar in terms of properties that you get from palm oil. So that's just if you're not wanting to use the palm, which is totally understandable. I understand why some people don't want to use palm, and I hesitated for a really long time, but this was the only way that I could come out with a more affordable range or a recipe of bars, was to use palm oil. But yeah, at least people have an option. They can pick, to buy these soaps, or if they don't want palm soaps, they have option to purchase, cocoa olive oil from the Dawn Organics range, which is totally palm free and fragrance oil free and mica free. Whereas that's why I created King of Suds, because I anticipated a year ago that this will end up here, and I wanted to have an outlet where I can create and not be limited into what ingredients I can use as well. So that's the thought behind it. So I thought I'd just share my thoughts today as to why I'm doing certain things. Actually, I don't think I need to get the stick blender. Actually maybe I will. Just to make sure it's all incorporated nice, and the clays are broken up as well, and the milk is all broken up and mixed in well. And I'll put this here. Yes. Yeah, so I thought today's video, we can make a new recipe with Heirloom Body Care. As you know, I have an affiliate with Heirloom Body Care, and it's easily accessible for everyone here in Australia. So I thought making this budget-friendly recipe, because olive oil is just through the roof, and soybean oil is just such a great replacement for olive oil, and it's got very similar skin. It's actually got the same conditioning benefits as well. Right, so I'm going to quit yakking, and I'm going to go ahead, fingers crossed, that this recipe behaves itself.